Welcome to The Shift Show with Adriana Bucci. Join me every week to learn all about narcissistic abuse recovery, healing from physical and emotional pain after the abuse, and everything else to do with toxic people and how they affect your physical, emotional, and mental health. And no, you are not the crazy one. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Let's get right to it. Hey, and welcome back to The Shift Show. Today's episode is yet another Dear Adriana column question. I might even do 2 questions in this episode because this one's a little short, so we'll see. We'll see how much time I spend responding to this one because I do have a lot of thoughts on this topic. So our question today, this first one at least, if there's a second one or not, who knows how this is going to play out. But our first one at least is from Bella's. And her question is, how do you work with toxic coworkers when you have no option but to stay at your job, a job you actually like doing? So, disclaimer, before I continue, I am not a career coach. This is not career advice. All right, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It's up to you. So the thing with toxic coworkers, so narcissists are everywhere, toxic people are everywhere. It is what it is. And it's a huge drain to have toxic coworkers, especially when you really like your job and you don't have an option to change jobs. And, frankly, you shouldn't have to change jobs just because of toxic people, but it just really depends on the toll that it is taking on you. So it depends what kind of job this is. So I don't really have any details, but the main point I want to make is that in most jobs, if it's like an office job, things are usually documented. So just, keeping that in mind, that everything's documented. So if the toxic or narcissistic coworker makes a mistake and tries to pin it on you or something like that, at least that's documented. And, if that escalates for whatever reason, the facts are the facts are the facts, and they are there. Now, if it's another type of job where things are not really documented, it just really depends on whatever industry you're in. So I'm just thinking stuff like potentially working at a salon or restaurant industry, things like that. I still feel like things are documented there anyways, because everyone would have their own user ID. So, it just really depends. If it's a really old-fashioned place, that the whole documentation stuff could be an issue. Now, aside from that, right, the facts just existing by default for the most part, again, maybe not in every single work environment, but generally speaking, stuff is documented. But in ways on dealing with toxic coworkers. So the thing you have to understand is that they're not going to change, right? And no amount of reasoning with them, right? Just like with any narcissist, you cannot reason with them. You cannot tell them, this is bothering me. Can you stop doing it? Because then you're just literally giving them a war plan, right? So you want to gray rock them. The gray rock method is basically when you become a gray rock, be extremely boring. Do not share information with them. Do not tell them about your personal life. Basically, go on an information diet, so to speak, where you are not giving this person any information that is not necessary. Just treat it as you're here to do a job. You're there for whatever your hours are for the day, and focus on work. You're not there to make friends. If you do make friends, happy bonus. I have a lot of old coworkers that I am still friends with to this day. Very grateful for those friendships. But when you're in a professional environment, your goal is just to do whatever the work is and, not get involved with office politics and, stupid shit like that, because it's not necessary really. And so all of that really being said, if the toxic coworkers are trying to rope you into drama or, spreading crap about other people or about you, it's really important to gray rock that situation as well, because they're looking for fuel. They're looking for supply. They're looking for your reaction. So the less that you give them an emotional reaction, the less that you show them that you're bothered by what they're doing, and the more that things are documented anyways, the better. Right? So if they start, talking shit about another coworker, you're not going to get involved in that. right? You're just going to be like, okay, cool, that's your opinion. Anyways, back to whatever this assignment we were working on, right? Just really keep the topic on the work if you have to communicate with these people, and don't, your best bet really is to just be the grayest rock that you can possibly be and not give them information, because any information that you give to a narcissist can and will be used against you. And, eventually, hopefully the truth comes up and catches up with them. But that's pretty much, I don't have too many details from this question. So I know this response is very broad and very general, but, just as a basic guideline on dealing with toxic coworkers, gray rock method, stick to business. Don't show them that you're bothered by the stupid antics that they're pulling, and just focus on the work. You're there to work, and that's it. And, as it sounds like, at least there's decent coworkers there too, so at least there's that. But that's pretty much it. So that's basically my response for this first one. So you know what? We are going to have 2 questions in this podcast episode today. So let's go on to our next question. You know what? Change of plans. This is just going to be its own episode. And then our next one, I'm just going to do 2 episodes in one day, right? Like, why not, right? Because the next questions I have are pretty long, and they are going to probably take a bit more time for me to answer. And I want to at least give that, like those ones, their own episodes. So we will end this one here, and I will catch you in the very next episode, which is probably already uploaded by now, because I probably uploaded these at the same time. See you there. And if you are interested in submitting your own question to this column, podcast, whatever we're calling it, the link to do so is in the description. So feel free to submit your questions, and stay tuned to the podcast to hear the answer to your questions. And as well, I've put my other link where you can check out all the other resources and ways to work with me that I offer if you are interested. All right. That's all for today, or this episode at least of today, and see you in the second one that you will be able to listen to pretty much right now. Bye.